Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant News, and with the North American Challengers qualifier concluding just a couple of days ago and the 12 teams being confirmed, it seems the groups they will be playing in have now been leaked to the press. We're going to dive into today, and ShahZaM also giving his thoughts on Wardell and TSM's playstyle. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you are new as well. I'd really appreciate it. Loads of support the last few days, rocketing towards 10,000 subscribers. Firstly, this from Dephh, because rostermania is certainly something back on the menu with this kind of a round of qualification matches that I've gone through. We talked about TSM yesterday, the fact that they might be considering some moves. Dephh going to pick up these 5 players and a manager as well going into the upcoming VCT. This also from Valorant, Play Valorant, they tweet this out because, well, Yoru, there's been plenty of talk, but okay, Yoru, like, is there going to be a rework? Is this guy ever going to be good again? And, I mean, yeah, most people would say that's probably something that should indeed come through. They do tweet this out with kind of some promotional thing, so who knows? There was some talk that Riot, instead of focusing on adding new agents, are going to kind of prioritize while focusing on the balance and switching things up. Like, it's really difficult to find a time to do that though, because right now with the way the VCT is, it's pretty much like a match into match into match. Like, there's barely any downtime right now, so it's kind of difficult to find a slot that you might make these changes, and then of course the pros need to practice on it, all that type of stuff. This also from Purist thought was quite interesting, because Zek, I'm pretty sure former coach of one of the TSM teams, they were, but he apparently has been working with Rise. They ended up qualifying for Challengers as well, of course, so I guess things are working out rather well on that front. This also from FPX, because very soon indeed, the EMEA Challengers is starting on February the 11th, and unfortunately it seems Angel has tested positive, and therefore will not be able to attend the opening match on Saturday. I believe this is an online tournament, so I don't really think there would be an issue if he does feel well enough to play, but yeah, unfortunately for FPX, because of course they did it well to qualify here, and if their in-game leader is feeling under the weather and can't play, or at least can't practice the next few days, even if he does feel well enough to play on their game on Saturday, then I mean, still, not ideal for FPX. But these are the groups in the EMEA side. This is how it works effectively if you guys are unfamiliar. Every team in each group will play each other once, so there's 15 total games being played, because of course Gambit play 5 games, and all the other teams play 5 games. The way it works is there's 15 total matches on display, so 30 matches across the 2 groups over a few weeks, and then at the top 3 teams based on win-loss, and yeah, overall rounds for round against the tiebreakers or whatever it might be, the top 6, 3 from each group, then go to the playoffs, and then after the playoffs, I'm pretty sure the top 2 teams from that then qualify into the Masters. So, well, anyway, this is how the groups look in the EMEA side, and effectively they're doing the same thing in North America. So we've got Gambit, Liquid, Big, I mean, Fun plus Phoenix, they're here, they are down here. They play Big on Saturday, so of course that might be the game where, of course, Angel unfortunately may not be able to play, but still, here Group B looks pretty stacked, because G2 are down here, coming from the open qualifier that they had to qualify through. Now, in the North American side, these are the 12 teams, of course, also needed to be seeded into 2 groups, as we just looked at for the EMEA region. These were the 12 teams, finally determined yesterday: Evil Geniuses, Knights, Luminosity, and Rise Nation, of course, the 4 teams that qualified through the final open qualifier. Now, well, as George Geddes pointed out, it seems like these groups have now been leaked to the teams, or at least talked about with the teams, and therefore they've now been leaked to the public. We'd imagine this might get confirmed sometime later today, because of course these also begin on February the 11th in just a couple of days' time. Ryan Central puts a nice graphic together of these, so this may well be what we are looking at. Group A is the following: 100 Thieves, Cloud9 Blue, Xset the Guard, LG, and Evil Geniuses. Group B would then be Sentinels, Envy, Version 1, NRG, Knights, and Rise. Really interesting couple of groups. I'm honestly having a difficult time determining which group is stronger, which group is more interesting in terms of the matchups, and I honestly really like Group B, to be honest. I think there's a lot of potential here for potential upsets, right? We really don't know how good Sentinels are going to be. Envy also, same with 100 Thieves and Cloud9 Blue, right? Who knows how good these teams are? Like, we haven't really seen all that much of them so far. All these other teams had to qualify, so of course they're coming in with some momentum here. Version 1, NRG, Xset, and the Guard, the 4 teams that qualified through the first qualifier, right? And then of course LGEG, Knights, and Rise came through the second time around. But I kind of feel like out of all these 4 teams that qualified second time, Rise are the one with the kind of the most upside potential. I think they're a team here that really could cause some serious stirring up here in Group B. Of course, only 3 teams from these 6 will actually qualify, and I really feel like there's a huge potential for upset in both of these groups. LG and Evil Geniuses, both kind of these teams, their rebuild seems to have worked quite well. Xset, of course, are no pushover, and the Guard have been looking really good. Very excited to see those guys back in business again with Net, of course, and Trent really showing huge potential. Cloud9, of course, are probably one of the gold standard teams right now in global Valorant, just the way they play so consistent. 100 Thieves, their new roster with babybay and Eccles and all this type of stuff. So I think if these groups go through, I feel like Group B is somewhat harder to predict how things will go. I think there could maybe be more upsets here than in Group A. Not sure about LG and Evil Geniuses, right, how well these guys will play, but things could all change. Very much intrigued to your perspective in the comment section below. Just wanted to mention this actually as well for you guys real quick, because ShahZaM has certainly been having his words for Wardell Wardell the last couple of days. Wardell did this tier list we looked at, right, a few days ago, and he put ShahZaM and Zoms down here in the D tier, which obviously is pretty entertaining. And ShahZaM wasn't just going to take this one lying down and let him get away with it, because, of course, well, when TSM went out of the open qualifier a couple of days ago, there were some thoughts, right, from ShahZaM. TSM's best performance was on Twitter. He said in January, during the first open qualifier, and then, of course, the second one, they also did not make it through. And, yeah, ShahZaM has some thoughts I'll share for you guys here on Wardell. The fact that they didn't pick him up to their roster because they still want to win, and they're kind of in saying, look, Wardell, like, he's not really trying to win all that much, which definitely an interesting accusation, somewhat tongue-in-cheek, but there's still probably some real meaning behind this, and also talking about the way TSM actually play in terms of their playstyle. Sabro's it all on his own, just nowhere near good enough.
When do you think you're gonna sign Wardell to replace you when we don't care about winning anymore? I got Rose.
I think no, we need to let's bait out the util mid, and then we go B.
Yeah, slow round. Let's slow it. See, like, look at this. They're all A. Sabros is just solo fighting B. It's like, I feel like it's the same way they always play. Is like Sabros is just contacting somewhere, always. But what's the goal? Like, I would rather have my Sky like flash in a U-haul. You're on up short A or something. It's not like he's making any presence. You can't make that much presence alone, like, in this game. You're not gonna cause a rotate. Draw them away. I don't know. I don't think if there's a bad team, will probably rotate, distract them.
So with all that being said, there is still an NSG Winter Champs going on at the present time. So as I say, there's so much happening in Valorant that it's a difficult time really for Riot to actually find a slot to say, okay, now we're going to make all these changes to agents and updates and all this type of stuff, because there's always something going on. So the Winter Champs are underway. These are the teams that are qualifying, or at least that were in the tournaments. Some of these are already out of it, actually. And very interestingly enough, actually, KCP, that being the Kansas City Pioneers, they've made seemingly some roster changes. So what Pura, we did, JC Stani, Thief and Huan. So seemingly Pura and Huiyan actually filling into this roster right now. And well, as Sky even says here, like, well, JMO and Critical weren't available, but JC Stani says, of course, on the roster, like, hang on a second, no, that's not the case. These guys actually are being trialed to the Pioneers roster. So yes, already these teams seemingly making some moves. Of course, KCP fell just short really of qualifying for Challengers. So well, could be an interesting roster change they're trying to make. I think the JMO one for Pura seems to make sense. The Critical question mark is an interesting one, because I think he was definitely one of the critical key pieces to that team, one might certainly say. But well, let's dive into this then, just as we finish things off. These are the qualification matches as they look right now. This was the first day of games that Exit Reformed made it through. Evil Geniuses, right, having just qualified for the Valorant Challengers, they actually fell out kind of, well, not exactly flat on their face, but not exactly ideal. And Exit versus EG actually is going to be a match that we saw here that might potentially happen in Group A if, of course, this group does come through. That was quite interesting, I thought. And, of course, doesn't really mean all that much for these teams, right, given especially Luminosity, for example. They have qualified. But, I mean, look, NRG, they went to day 2. They beat Luminosity quite comfortably here. Two teams that are in North American Challengers as well. Complexity didn't make it, but they took down Luminosity in the lower sides. Version 1, Pioneers made it through. Ambox didn't quite make it. Built by Game as the guards. They got through these groups. That then leads today looking like the following. A crew reformed. So, yeah, basically, if you qualify out of this group, is that, well, 4 teams go down to 2, and then that leaves 8 teams remaining to go into the playoff bracket. So, well, this is how things are looking at the present time, with these teams still alive and in the tournament with some degree of potential. But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit on the like button. And tell us the YouTube gods this is a good video. I'd just like you should see it as well, and help grow the competitive Valorant community. Thank you much as always. Take care, and I will see you next time.
One enemy remaining.
Nice!